What's up, YouTube? Kedris here, and I thought, I haven't really given my take on any of the conferences or any of the leagues that are going on right now. So I thought it'd be a good idea while we, have some time before I put out some stuff for the semifinal of the Europa League to go through the other competitions and really get a breakdown of what I think the results will be, my prediction on who's going to win. Now, what am I talking about? I am talking, of course, about the UEFA Conference League, the UEFA Europa League, the UEFA Champions League. I'm also going to talk about the Premier League, and finally, the FA Cup. So, got a lot to do, got a lot to get through. Let's get into it. Starting with the UEFA Conference League, we have Shakhtar versus Crystal Palace and Rayo Vallecano versus Strasbourg. In the semifinals, both of these leagues I think are going to be decent games. Two very opposing styles and two different types of play I think you're going to get out of each match. Starting with Shakhtar versus Crystal Palace. I think this game is going to be very open, very free-flowing. Crystal Palace have been shown to give goals away from home and not be as aggressive when attacking. But then when they do come home, they're pretty dominant with the ball. So looking at Shakhtar, we got Mikola Matvienko, Pedrinho, and Alisson Santana. Basically, those are the guys that have contributed the most throughout the entire Conference League process. Crystal Palace, obviously, Ismail Assar, Jean-Philippe Mateta. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring semifinal. It's going to start away from home at Shakhtar in Ukraine. What's the result going to be? I think high-scoring 2-2 is going to be my bet on the first leg. And then on the second leg, when they go back to Crystal Palace, I think it'll be a clean 2-0 sweep for Crystal Palace. And they'll take the cake on a 4-2 aggregate going to the semifinal. Looking at Rayo Vallecano and Strasbourg, I think it's going to be a completely different type of match. Rayo Vallecano likes to play a grinding type of game. They're willing to play the block, keep the opponent out, and then attack you and hit you on the counterattack. Strasbourg, a very possession-based team. They want to have the ball. They want to play. So I think you're going to see a very skewed kind of result when it comes to the possession stat. Now, the result itself probably hinges on moments. How do you defend in certain situations? Vallecano, I think, takes it since they're home first. I think they'll take it probably 1-0, 2-0, something like that. Really low scoring before they head back to Strasbourg for the second leg. Now, what happens at Strasbourg? Well, kind of plays into Rayo Vallecano's hands because Strasbourg, being down from the first leg, have to attack at home. So they're going to be putting on the pressure. That pressure probably produces a goal, but they'll also leave themselves open to a counterattack from Rayo Vallecano. So I think Rayo Vallecano is going to take this probably 2-1 on aggregate or 3-1 and move to the semifinal. And we'll see a semifinal of Crystal Palace versus Rayo Vallecano. Now, this is going to be an interesting game because Crystal Palace want their opponent to have the ball. Rayo Vallecano also want their opponent to have the ball. So who's going to end up with the ball? I think it's going to be Crystal Palace. And that's going to work against them in the final because they are a team with a lot better quality, I think, than Rayo Vallecano, but don't really like to operate with high amounts of possession. They have Jean-Philippe Mateta, though. So I think the semifinal will result in a 1-0 win for Crystal Palace. They will be the UEFA Conference League champions for this season. That's my prediction. Let's move on to the next. Moving to the beloved UEFA Europa League, where my beloved club Nottingham Forest is playing. We have our semifinal this week with Nottingham Forest playing Aston Villa. Should I give a spoiler? Should I give a spoiler? Screw it, I will. Nottingham Forest to win. I will break that game down in my preview on Wednesday. So if you want to see that, check it out. Go there. I will not be saying it in this video. Yes, I am teasing you. Moving to the other semifinal, Braga versus Freiburg. Two interesting teams because they're both actually in really good form, with Braga winning 17 of their 19 home matches and Freiburg winning their last 10 of 12 matches. They are flying high, both of these clubs. Had an interesting quarterfinal where it was really high scoring for both of them. I mean, high scoring for me is like 4+ goals. And so they're coming into this with a lot of confidence. Of course, the first leg is going to be at Braga away. Freiburg, I expect to play compact. Braga will have possession and the ball at home. I think we're looking at a situation where Freiburg's going to be playing a mid-block, looking for the counterattack. Braga obviously going to be trying to build up in possession. What's the result of the first leg? Well, let's take a look. So Braga have Ricardo Horta, Abel Ruiz for the striker rotation. Controlling midfield with Grilicic. Freiburg have Vincenzo Grifo. Set piece. Mateus Ginter. Defensively, Mateus the striker. Alplet is more. So Freiburg's going to be mid-block, counterattack, set pieces. Braga, home control, attacking waves, probably have the majority of the possession. I'm going to say, I think it's going to be 1-1. I think we're going to come away from the first leg 1-1, heading back to Freiburg for a interesting match. Away, so what's the result here? Man, I think if it's a draw in the first leg, Freiburg wins. If Braga can get on top with a goal, then Braga will win. I think away from home, because it makes it to where Freiburg will have to come out of their shell to attack, and they're more of like a counterattacky kind of. They're not really built constructively. I want to change what I said. First leg, I think Braga take it 2-1, and then we go back Freiburg and they draw 1-1 for Braga to advance on a 3-2 aggregate into the semifinal of the Europa League against my beloved Nottingham Forest. I think the result of that match, anyone can guess. Nottingham Forest win the Europa League final in glaring fashion. We are flying high right now. We are pumping out goals. We are defensively solid. It's just a good time to be a Forest fan. So that's your winners for the Europa League. At the end of the day, guys, it's just a prediction. So, don't get too mad. Looking at the UEFA Champions League semifinals, we have Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. And then we have Atletico Madrid against Arsenal. Jesus, this is going to be such a, if you thought the Conference League was a look at opposing styles, this is going to be two completely different semifinals being played. Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. Obviously, I think it's going to be very open, very attacking. There's going to be a lot of goals. Can Harry Kane hold off the front line of Paris Saint-Germain of Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Doué, Barcola? I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, but Bayern Munich has Olise. They have Kimmich. Harry Kane, obviously, one of the best strikers ever. So how does this go? How does this high-flying, high-scoring game go? I have no idea, but I do tell you what, I think Paris Saint-Germain will control possession. I think they'll have more. Just Vitinha, too good, too strong. So what does that result in? Probably more goal opportunities and more chances where we have to play more on a counterattack. How does that hurt Bayern Munich? Well, Harry Kane is not as fast as Dembele. And also, they don't really have Bayern don't really have runners. Like Olise wants to control the ball. Nabry, you could say, is a runner, but he's been playing more as a 10 lately. So you're kind of looking at a situation where Bayern need to play more on the counterattack, but are they comfortable doing that? I don't know. I think they do score, though. I think they will get goals, especially from set pieces. Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, the Bayern defense is not world class. It's good, but it's not world class. So I'm going to say first leg away at Paris. I think PSG are going to win. I'm going to say 2-1. And then they go to Bayern Munich in Germany. Paris a little bit worse away from home, have less possession. Bayern will have more possession. And I actually think Bayern Munich win. I think they win 2-1 at home for an aggregate of 3-3 and then go through on penalties to go and advance to the Europa. I almost said Europa. To advance to the UEFA Champions League final. Looking at the other game, a completely different type of game. Two teams playing almost exactly the same style. Atletico Madrid and Arsenal both play very defensively, very, I wouldn't say counterattacky, but they're not really creative, I guess would be the way I'd say it. I don't want to say they're counterattacking. I mean, Atletico is kind of counterattacking, but Arsenal specifically, they're just really bad at creating. So, I mean, if you just go down here and you look like 0-0, 1-0 win, 2-0, I mean, they don't score many goals, man. That's been the problem for Arsenal all season. Talk more about that when I get to the Premier League and my predictions there. Atletico, more open this year. Simeone, is he struggling? You look at this result for Tottenham and you think to yourself, well, maybe they struggle against Premier League teams, but not really. Not really. I mean, they beat Barcelona. I think Atletico Madrid win. I think Atletico will play and win at home. Like, it's going to be a really low scoring affair, man. I think they win 1-0 and then go away to Arsenal, and the result is 0-0. And Atletico Madrid are going to advance to the UEFA Champions League final on a 1-0 aggregate. It's going to be, I think, a dreadful game to watch, both legs. Maybe it opens up in the second leg if, like, Arsenal or Atletico are losing. Who knows? But I think it's going to be Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich in the finals of the UEFA Champions League. I think Bayern Munich will beat Atletico Madrid just because the quality of attack, especially in a final, is going to show way more than any defensive kind of compression. And when Bayern has the ball, they're a lot more deadly, especially with Olise. So I think what you'll see is Bayern will go ahead, they'll score, maybe go 2-3 up, and then maybe Atletico gets one like really late in the game. And Bayern Munich is my winner of the UEFA Champions League. Congratulations. Harry Kane gets his trophy in Europe. Congratulations on a successful career, my dude. Moving to the Premier League. I'm not going to talk about the EFL Championship. That's the only other league I really follow, even remotely closely. Coventry City has already won. Congratulations to Frank Lampard, their manager in Coventry, for advancing with a staggering 92 points. Not the record, but pretty good. Right now, the battle is between Ipswich, Millwall, Middlesbrough, and Southampton. Southampton and Ipswich actually play their makeup round this week. I think it's on the 28th, so tomorrow. And if Southampton win, they will be 1 point behind Ipswich, who is currently in second place. So it's getting spicy in the championship. If you're wanting to go watch that for, there's still a shakeup between second and all the playoff spots. Our hated Derby County is looking to try to get in there. No, please don't. Get the fuck out. Hull City looking to get in there. Wrexham fighting for a spot still. So there's a lot going on in the championship if you want to go check that out. But I'm here to talk about winners. And we move to the Premier League, where the battle is between Arsenal and Manchester City. Manchester United, I'm sorry, Manchester United fans. Sorry, not sorry. That you are not even anywhere close to being involved in this Premier League title race. So Arsenal played their game in hand where they have a game over Manchester City and beat, who was it they beat? Was it Newcastle? Yeah, Newcastle. Where they beat Newcastle. Obviously, they have to contend with Atletico Madrid at the midweek, and then they play Fulham on the weekend. Atletico Madrid again. So Arsenal got a lot going on. Manchester City, obviously, are advancing in the FA Cup final against Chelsea. More about that later. And have Everton, then Brentford. None of these are easy matches. Both of them are hard, but Everton seems to be kind of falling away here at the end of the season. They're not the stout Everton that you saw mid-season. Brentford starting to kind of come loose at the edges as well. Both of them are fighting for European places, but just seem to be degrading in performance. Man City are flying high after having a comeback win against Southampton. I believe I saw Southampton scored. Yeah, they scored first, and then fucking Man City scored fucking 5 minutes. But yeah, so they had a comeback win against Southampton, kind of gave them a real wake up call. And they have Everton on Monday. So they play actually, I think, after. Yeah. Yeah, they play after May 4th. They play after Arsenal play Fulham. Ooh. So Arsenal are going to have 2 games that they've already played over Manchester City. And they are squeezed between Atletico Madrid, which I think is going to be a slog fest as well. Ay, ay, ay. Arsenal not looking good. So I think Arsenal, Fulham. I think actually, let's see here. You got some Arsenal rejects that play for Fulham. Does Smith Rowe show up? I think this could be sneaky. What was Fulham's last result? 1-0 win at Aston Villa. Aston Villa. You slipping? You slipping, my cheese? But anyways, I think this is probably going to be a 0-0. I think it's going to be a draw, 0-0 between Arsenal and Fulham. So that takes them to 74 points, and then Man City will play Everton, and then obviously Arsenal play the midweek, and then they play Brentford. I think they win both these games. I can't really tell you what I think the score is going to be. Is this really kind of who's going to show up? Because Everton specifically, I think, could shape the tree a little bit. But I do think they win both games, so that takes them to 76. Arsenal lose the semifinal, take the hit, because I think Atletico is going to go to the final. So they're going to be coming into this next match week with Man City playing Chelsea and them playing West Ham. No, they play West Ham before that. So when they play Burnley, Man City that same weekend plays Bournemouth. But they're going to be caught up, and I think Man City will be ahead on points. They play West Ham, who's fighting for survival. I think it's going to be another draw. So that's 75 points. Bournemouth, I think Man City tears Bournemouth apart. Bournemouth just defensively are not solid enough. I think Man City tear them apart. That takes Man City to 79 points. So 79, 75, heading to the weekend of May 22nd, where Arsenal play Crystal Palace, who's going to be checked out because they're going to be in the final of the Conference League. So they probably win that, taking them to 78 points, which is just not going to be enough because I think Man City will be on 79. So this weekend right here, this weekend of the 17th, I think is going to be super key, especially if the results go, I think, the way I think they will for Arsenal, which is they draw at West Ham and they draw at Fulham. If they draw at West Ham and Fulham, I think they've lost the league. I think Arsenal obviously beat Burnley, and then they beat Crystal Palace to close out, which will give them 74, 75, 78, 81 points. But Man City, I think they can beat Everton. If Man City draw to Everton, then it gets real spicy. But I think they beat them. I think they beat Brentford as well, which would take them to 76 points. They have Chelsea in the FA Cup final. This match is getting postponed, I assume, because the final's on the 16th, but the match says the 17th. That's probably getting postponed. They play the final and then have a week off before they play Crystal Palace, who are probably going to be checked out and be in the Conference League. Then they have Aston Villa. That could be an interesting game, but I think just coming into it, they're already going to be 82 points ahead already. And then they go in the Crystal Palace game, win that 85. So I think Man City will win with on this weekend right here when they beat Crystal Palace. I think they'll win when they go for too many points that Arsenal can't keep up with. Really, the draws are going to kill Arsenal. And Manchester City will win the Premier League. Am I happy about that? Absolutely not. But you know what? Arsenal fans, if you guys had been such fucking whining bitches all season, talking shit, on Twitter, on Instagram, maybe I would feel more sympathy for you, because you're a club that does deserve to hold a Premier League title. But you bitching, so hold that. Moving to the last competition, I will be talking about the FA Cup, the final we played on the 16th between Manchester City and Chelsea. Both of them are out of all European competitions at this point, and there'll be a week break between the matches. So they're going to come into this game fully rested on both sides, and then they'll have a week afterwards before they play their next game. So, I mean, they're basically coming at it full power with nothing to lose. So I think probably Manchester City get the dub. Chelsea just in too much disarray for me. They have their interim manager, I know, right now, and they just won against who did they win against? Leeds 1-0. But I mean 1-0 against Leeds. I'm not saying anything against Leeds, but Leeds are not at the level of Manchester City, especially in a cup final. So I think we probably see a comfortable 3-4, maybe Chelsea get a goal at the end, one win. So 3-0, 4-1, however you want to slice it, dice it. And Manchester City do the domestic double this season over Chelsea. Chelsea going back to the drawing board in the summer. And they head into the last stretch with Arsenal ready and primed to go. So that's all. So that was my predictions for everything. Crystal Palace to win the Conference League, Nottingham Forest to win the Europa League, Bayern Munich to win the Champions League, Manchester City to win the Premier League and to win the FA Cup, doing the domestic treble. And, at the end of the day, you can disagree with some of my takes, but that's just my thoughts and opinions. You can take it how you want. If you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. What do you think about my idea, my criteria, how I broke down what I thought the results would be? Was I unfair to anybody? Arsenal fans, I was not unfair to you. Take it how you want to take it. Don't cry. And, yeah. So, come on, you Reds.